Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone, who are teaching this truth and sincerity. And a shout out to Yakim that's out there on four quarters of the earth proclaiming this truth. Braka the Yahweh, Braka the Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakakadash, Braka Duh. So, out here another week, prophesying the downfall of America, Babylon the Great, also known as Bozrah, also known as Edom. You know, because Edom shall be astonished. Everyone shall be astonished at the plague coming to Edom, you know, and they will say in their heart, is this the man that caused the nations to tremble? You know, that said in thine heart, I will ascend above the clouds and be like the Most High. Thus, you know, talking about the Edomites, you know, because the Edomites have said it all. You know, they've even claimed to be the Most High. They've even painted their image and all images, iconoclasm, and changed them to make it look like they were the gods of the earth. You know, by stealing philosophies from the others, you know, because we know that Japheth were the original Greeks, but Esau claims to be the Greeks. They claim to be lots of things, you know, because they took their land, and they took over their culture, and they took their language, and then claimed to be, you know, but we're in the final fall of this evil empire, if you will, you know. And it's just all coming out, though. You know, everybody knows that America's behind all the terrorists, that they're not fighting terrorism, that they're the reason for the terrorism in the world, and that they are the terrorists, pretty much. So this devil's been caught in many lies, and that's why he's trying to shut this down. Trying to shut down the alternative media, and of course he's trying to shut us down, you know, by having others, you know, falsely accuse us, you know, saying that we're black identity extremists, even though you know as well as I do that we, you know, we're a speckled bird. There are many of us in the camps from all the tribes, you know, and we all don't look alike, you know, so they can't even try to throw that narrative there to anyone that's ever seen us on the streets. You see that we come in many shades, you know, many different colors, but we all teach the same thing. You know, that this is Babylon the Great, that America is Babylon the Great. You know, all the things that you would never hear about in a so-called 501c3 church. You'll never hear about those things because it's not a big money maker. And plus the government regulates what you can and can't say, you know, because they have to be in charge. Everything goes back to Caesar, if you will, because that's just it. From Caesar Augustus to Caesar Borgia, which is modern day David Rothschild, you know, and Jacob, his father, Jacob Rothschild, which we know that those are Hebrew names, but they're the Hebrew Edomites, you know, because Rothschild means red child, but they go back to the direct bloodline of the Borgias. So we know that David Rothschild is Caesar Borgia reincarnate, and that all these 501c3 churches worship them, you know, worship them as gods, you know. The images look like the angels and everything, but this is not what angels look like. They're not just some Edomite that with a little harp and wings on top of them. No, in fact, they're very tall. You know, and they're all going to look like Yahushai. And that's the other thing. You know, we know what the true image of Yahushai looks like. Because in the bigger camps, you see brothers holding up what Yahushai looks like according to scriptures. You know, and it does not match the image of Caesar Borgia that we were all given. You know, and this is bringing down Christianity. And you can see, though, that Christianity has been failing because they can't explain anything anymore. You know, they have to try to borrow some of what we teach and put their spin on it, which is what Christianity is. The devil putting his spin on things, you know. Like, you know, trying to say that everybody could come to the fold because they took advantage of a word called Gentile. Because we, the Israelites, we had fallen off and we fell into a Gentile state, meaning that we were like the other nations. But when dealing with the terms in the Bible, man, they try to use that as a, you know, that he now came to save all nations. No, he came to save his people out of the nations because they had become like those nations. He was only dealing with one. And that's what we're teaching. We're teaching the truth about that, and so that's destroying Christianity. Because Christianity taught that anybody could come. Whether you be an Edomite, a Hamite, you know, a you know, Hindu, or whatever, man. You could just come as you are. And you could just do as you please. Just as long as you call upon the name Jesus Christ, he was going to forgive you. And that's not how it is anyways. Because you show your faith by showing your work. You come forth and you do this work without fear or trembling, and you hold steadfast to the very end. and you don't care what others think of you. You don't care, about your life, because you're more afraid of he that gave you life that could take your life, So we fear the Most High, and that's why we do this. We don't do this as a voluntary. Yes and no. We're compelled to do this, though. We're compelled to do this because we know. We know that, for one, we want to get out of here. We know the so-called American dream, that's a farce. That those opportunities that they claim, that you could do in America, that was never there. Only the greedy 1% really enjoy anything, which are them Rothschilds, the Richards, like Donald Trump, which Donald Trump was bailed out by the Rothschilds. That's why he's the perfect poster child. And don't you get the riddle? That the riddle is that he took the Donald for everything he had. Rothschild bailed him out. So what do you think he's going to do to America and everything? Well, take a look at what he's doing, though. Putting tariffs on everything, he's going to bankrupt America. He's going to bankrupt the Federal Reserve System. He's out there on purpose doing that. They wanted him to take the Donald for everything. That's why he became the president. And as well as I do, that presidents are selected. They're not elected, but they made everybody believe, especially once they got other sellouts like Alex Jones and Chris Green to make you believe that Alex Jones was against the so-called, or that Donald Trump was against the so-called deep state, when in fact he's a big-time part of it. His wife is an Amalekite, So, of course, they're going to be with the Zionist agenda, and they're just going to say, oh, well, Donald Trump, he's just compromised. No, he was always a part of it, and these Zionists.
Somebody stole my scooter. Have you seen it?
No. Nah. These Zionists, man, they have a global agenda, and they totally, have got everybody to eat it, to eat of to drink of that cup of wrath, getting that philosophy, because that these Zionists, they are the Catholic Church, which the Catholic Church has been a big time part of the false prophet, and the images, because they made you believe that they were the Jews, when in fact they're the gutter rats, they're the Amalekites, but you're supposed to believe that those are the actual Jews. But yet, you have leaders like Hosni Mubarak, which is no surprise that they took him out of power. He said that they left black but came back white, talking about the real Israelites. So the curtain is off of this, man, and so the only thing we can do now is lift up a banner against Babylon, and that's what we're doing. So I'm just going to read out Isaiah 13, because that's happening now. The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amoz did see, lift up a banner upon the high mountain, which is what we're doing now. All of these camps all together in one accord. Exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles, which that's talking about, the government. The gates of the nobles is talking about the military. I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness, which is talking about when this day of wrath that should come very quickly. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as a great people. A tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations together. The Lord of hosts mustered up the hosts to battle. So that's what's happening now. World War III is on the horizon, the third woe that cometh quickly. Now, you ain't going to hear about this in the 501c3 church, but you come down to our camps, you're going to hear about this. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Most High, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land, which is talking about thermonuclear missiles. This place will be consumed by nuclear fire, and lots of other places are going to be consumed by nuclear fire. But Babylon the Great, America, is going to be the most destroyed, because all of its allies are turning against them. Which is what Donald Trump was sent to do, was to turn all the allies against America. Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Because in 1 hour, which Vladimir Putin has already stated that he's got a hypersonic missile that can destroy this place within 15 minutes. And there's going to be 200 million of those nuclear missiles coming. Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. You know, a lot of people are going to have heart attacks seeing them missiles coming and hearing those sirens go off. And they shall be afraid. Pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain, as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed at one another. Their faces shall be as flames. You know, kind of like the image that they show you in Terminator 2. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners out of it. For the stars of heavens and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. You know, even during that false flag of 9/11, which you know that those were suitcase nukes used to destroy the building to bring it down, it wasn't jet fuel. That was nuclear thermal dust, you know, and it caused the sun and the moon to be darkened. It's going forth. And the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil, for the wicked of their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud, which is talking about the red Hebrew Edomites, to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible, which is talking about the red Hebrew Edomites. You know, this being the land of the thief. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of the Most High of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. You know, and pretty much, man, this place is going to be laid desolate in 1 hour, you know. But a lot of things are going to come before that hour, you know. You know martial law is going to be here, and you know that they're planning something. I hear Black Hawk helicopters all the time. And then I'm seeing almost full trailer parks full of dumpsters over there at Target. You know, what are those for? I know what they're for. You know, FEMA. You know, the whole idea of the Car Fire last year was to get most of the population homeless, and then by the time they round up the homeless, nobody's going to give a shit about the homeless. They're going to want them gone anyways, you know. And it's a downsizing project, so that way, when the UN Army After Next comes, it's going to be an easy mow down. It's going to be easy to get everybody to stay in their houses with the martial law. That's what's happening, and that's what them dumpsters are there for. We're not dumb, you know, while everybody else is blissed to that. Because, of course, man, they're trying to shut down the alternative media. But you saw the videos, you know, with the FEMA coffins and just what FEMA is, Army After Next. You know, aka Jade Helm practice. What do you think they're practicing for? Of course they're going to cause more false flag shootings. Of course they're going to cause more events, you know, outbreaks. Because you're seeing a lot of outbreaks in LA, you know, big time outbreaks. Because what did they do? They purposely burned a bunch of places there to get the homeless to rise the population there. So of course FEMA's going to come in and round them up. That's what's happening. And not even to mention the terrorist group ICE, and what they're doing to the Northern Kingdom, you know. And then you got ISIS, you know, ICE and ISIS, same devil, same red Hebrew Edomites that are doing this. So we know who the terrorists are. It's some red Hebrew Edomites, and the whole world knows about it. And that's why Esau, the so-called white man, if you will, has become a proverb of the world. They know that it's the red Hebrew Edomites that are causing everything. So I hope all this has been edifying, and proclaim this while you can, and repent while you still can. Because the time is coming that a famine shall come in. Then they're going to force that mark upon everybody, which is the RFID implant. Don't let any other camp tell you that it's not the RFID implant, because it most assuredly is. You will not be able to buy, sell, or trade without it. Because the 5G, they've already admitted that there's tons of microchips in the air. You know, that's what part of what the chemtrails are for. You know, so everything is on that 5G network. So think about that, you know. Because the other camps, they ain't going to talk about it, and definitely ain't going to hear about it in your 501c3 church, which we've already proven that Christianity is idolatry. So, like everything else, though, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai, Hashem Rakakadash, Wa Abal Babal. Barak Thum to Yehovah elect.